Despite some of my coverage on this channel, and it's true, the misinformation, FUD and clowns that attempt to discredit Cardano on an almost daily basis do at times need addressing, I'm far more interested in what Cardano is doing and the strides it is making than what the competitors or naysayers think, as this ultimately has no bearing on where we are heading. My focus and interest is on real world changing technology and solutions that have the potential to unlock user adoption on a scale far beyond anything we've seen before, where the tech is so pervasive it works its way into all facets of society to such a degree that many users won't even know it's Cardano they are using. Now this isn't going to happen overnight, and the road ahead is certainly going to be a difficult one. Remember, there are no foregone conclusions in crypto. But when it comes to Cardano, this is where it is playing a completely different game, being the most well thought out, well researched project where the technology and mission penetrates so deep into the future, making a genuine attempt at becoming the world's financial operating system without compromising the blockchain trilemma, and it's in this respect where Cardano stands alone. Welcome back for today's installment of Cardano Insights, where we track the all-important developments at the very pulse of Cardano and its ecosystem. So I promised a recap on some of the goings-on that we didn't feature on last week's episodes. That didn't quite materialise over the weekend, so I thought we'd start the week off and do just that. So let's get straight into it. First up to a project that has somehow evaded any coverage on Cardano Insights, and for that I'm a little disappointed in myself considering the adoption potential it possesses and huge problem for artists it solves in one of the largest industries globally. They deserve a deep dive style coverage which we'll be sure to complete in up and coming episodes, but for today let's take a look broadly at what Project NEWM is bringing to both the Cardano ecosystem and the music industry. As a result of blockchain technology and the explosion of NFTs, a whole new asset class has been created, putting the power back into the artist's hands. Project NEWM have created a music streaming marketplace for both artists and fans that truly makes music a collector's item. We know platforms like Spotify and Apple Music are taking the lion's share of revenue from sales and streaming, and for the artists involved, this is very much a one-sided affair. As a musician, intellectual property is extremely valuable, and they shouldn't have to sign away their ownership rights just to make a living. Built on the Cardano blockchain, leveraging that competitive advantage with its smaller transaction fees, sustainability, higher security and research-driven development, Project NEWM have introduced the concept whereby artists can truly own their content, take control of their funds and tap into their fan base by fractionalizing and distributing mechanical IP rights for their music as NFTs. This directly connects the artists with their fans and in turn enables fans to directly support their favourite artists, benefit from a multi-billion-dollar industry in owning a portion of the IP and in turn sharing in their success. Upon purchasing a portion of the IP, from what I understand, this will be represented in stream tokens which will govern who owns the IP rights to release music and enable them to earn a percentage of the ongoing streaming revenue. In effect, by buying the stream tokens, you're buying a portion of the song. Thereafter, royalties will be paid out in either ADA, NEWM or JED once available. On Saturday, Project NEWM announced the first sample sale where you can now co-own a piece of music history is now live in the form of hip-hop artist Murs with the track Bigger Dreams. We'll soon take a much more detailed look at Project NEWM and focus on its adoption impact potential, but in the meantime I've linked all the details in the description if you want to take a closer look at the project itself and the track by artist Murs. Next, and to book.io, last Thursday we saw the addition of The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to their NFT bookstore. The collection itself is comprised of 2,655 unique books and 94 unique covers, with a mint price of 39 ADA or 30 ADA for those who are members of the OG Book Club. Interestingly, immediately after the mint on the secondary marketplace, one of the aspects that makes NFT book collections far superior from a collector's perspective when compared to the alternative digital ebook or paperback options was demonstrated in real time. Here JPG Store and their automated large sale notifications confirmed 2 of the rarest in the collection were resold on the secondary marketplace for 3,000 ADA each. Since then, Dr. Jekyll number 4 and number 5 was sold for 3,800 and 3,500 ADA respectively, and number 1 in the collection sold for 7,000 ADA, all of this in the first 48 hours or so of the original mint taking place. Now, we've gone into some detail in previous videos in terms of book.io and the impacts NFT books will or is already having on the consumers, publishers and authors alike. But just from a secondary market perspective, here we see in real time how collections can be minted, and with each book holding different properties, increasing its rarity, can produce secondary sales, in this case between 100 and 200 times the original mint value. We've seen this same occurrence in each of the titles released at book.io, delivering additional royalties to the original creator and a healthy profit for the individual seller. Next to a project that we've been following closely that has featured many times on this channel. As you know, Muesliswap have been building up to their Hybrid Dex launch that will see the first of its kind in terms of combining both an order book and AMM trading. Well, last week they gave us this announcement that they have now officially launched both Plutus V2 contracts and liquidity pools. In addition, they confirmed yield farming with double and triple yield opportunities will launch in the coming weeks. Muesliswap also published a really interesting article outlining exactly how they went about the implementation of their Hybrid Dex model and how the EU TXO model played a huge part in its success. They explained that whilst there are many benefits to the Vassal upgrade, crucially it allows the use of reference inputs. Previously, a transaction's complexity had been limited by the number and size of smart contracts involved. With reference inputs, the limit has been lowered greatly. This enables multiple smart contracts to interact in a single transaction, in turn enabling them to create a unique connection between their decentralized order book and newly introduced liquidity pools. Due to the unique functionalities of EU TXO, they've successfully merged the decentralized order book with liquidity pools, giving users a unique trading experience. In particular, it is now possible to automatically fill limit orders using the entire liquidity locked in any liquidity pools across the entire blockchain. This makes markets on Muesliswap far more liquid and efficient. So if you're interested to find out more about what's new and how it all works, I've linked the article in the description below. Next up, and it would seem that we're edging ever closer to the arrival of another big lending Dapp coming to the Cardano ecosystem in the form of the highly anticipated Liqwid Labs peer-to-pool lending and borrowing platform. Last week they confirmed that peer-to-pool lending and borrowing is now live on the preview testnet and will be made available on the public testnet within the next couple of weeks, signifying a major step towards that mainnet launch. For those who are familiar with Aave and Compound solution to lending and borrowing in the EVM world, Liqwid will be offering a similar style solution. Different from AADA's peer-to-peer order book style approach with NFT bonds, Liqwid will deliver lending via liquidity pools where rates are based on algorithmic supply and demand flow measures. We'll be sure to follow up and do a deeper dive once it all goes live to mainnet. Now, sticking with lending and borrowing for a moment, you may remember in our recent AADA coverage, the team had promised some updates to the lending Dapp that would further improve the user experience when interacting with the platform. Here they announced the introduction of a new homepage that includes this infographic dashboard detailing parameters such as a TVL summary, the topmost borrowed tokens, and recent loan transactions. This update also introduced a number of different tweaks, such as a market filter to show only the requests with sufficient balance to fund, updated lower collateral tags from risky to fair, added a vested interest and interest rate to the loans tab, added an interest rate and vested amount to the debt tab, added a more button to access related documents and channels, added a summary page to the dashboard to show all loan summary for both the borrower and lender, and the addition of the check NFT bond functionality to perform a bond health check, which can be found in the drop-down under the More tab. Since the launch back in September, the team at AADA have continued to tweak the Dapp with a focus on user experience. Going by what the team is saying through their Telegram discussions with the community, this will continue for the remainder of this year with a whole host of new features still to come. One of them being lender request functionality, whereby you'll soon be able to place a request to lend on the market as opposed to just borrower requests. They've also confirmed after they see the year out with optimizations of the V1, 2023 will see the build out of their version 2 of the protocol, where we'll see the introduction of liquidity pool lending amongst other features such as the bond marketplace to facilitate the trading of the unique and innovative NFT bonds. In addition, AADA have also announced the second wave of on-chain voting, which will take place on Epoch 370. This will open up voting to the community to see the introduction of new tokens as borrowable assets, and also upgrade existing tokens to be eligible to be used as collateral. Now, ever since Vassal was delivered, we've been monitoring all the Dapps in our ecosystem, tracking them upgrading to Plutus V2 with an interest to see all the positive impacts it has on both script sizes and transaction fees. Here we can now add JPG Store to that list. In this announcement, they confirmed we've just decreased network fees on JPG Store by 50%. How did we achieve this? We upgraded to Plutus V2, allowing for smaller transaction sizes, which means smaller fees when interacting with our new contract. In this infographic, you can see a reduction in script size from 5KB to 1KB and a transaction fee reduction from 0.50 ADA to 0.25. The power of Vassal is real, with the effects being noticed across the ecosystem from Dapps developers and users alike. Now, you may remember we recently covered the site Dapps on Cardano, where you can check the category, total transactions, volume, script balance, and number of unique accounts of each of the Dapps in our ecosystem, along with information to whether or not the code is open source and audited. A very useful site for those who wish to track the activity of Dapps and delve a little deeper into some of the key metrics associated with them. Well, in a recent Twitter space, one of the developers behind Dapps on Cardano discussed up-and-coming changes soon to be implemented on the site, one of them being information relating to whether or not a Dapp has upgraded to Plutus V2. Since Vassal, this has been a question on a lot of people's minds, and for the average user, unless the protocol officially announces it, it's difficult to keep up with which Dapps have indeed upgraded, so this will be a welcomed addition. I've linked the site in the description below if you want a bookmark for future reference. So that's it for today's installment of Cardano Insights, as we keep track of the developments and continue to spread those positive Cardano vibes. If you found value in the content and want to help me beat this YouTube algorithm, then please be sure to comment, share, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, which will go a long way in reaching that wider audience. We'll be back soon with your daily roundup. Until then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, keep it Cardano.